All right, welcome to the podcast Hass Discusses. I'm the host, Michael Hassepin, here to discuss filmmaking, content that he creates, distributor, many other amazing topics, hardcore music, including that. This is Loren, Lepre, and let's go right into it. So, what's your experiences with a distributor?
Okay, so I've been in the film industry since 2010, and you end up. I just started as a simple actor, and little by little, I started, transitioning into
What's that theater
directing.
company you're a part of?
Theater company, that's where I trained to be an actor. That was Walnut Street Theater.
Nice.
That's where I trained. That was in Philadelphia, which is the oldest acting school in the entire country. So that's definitely pretty cool. And little by little, I just started shooting short films, getting experience. And as I always say, short films is where you make your errors before you go make a feature film. And little by little, I built my team. I built my whole resume, and I started getting trust into people of like, this guy gets this things done. And finally, I got some money together, including my own pocket. And then I finally got the Dark Military after 5 years. It was a trilogy that I'm putting together. So the first one is done, which you can watch right now for free on Tubi and Amazon and Movieplex
Tubi's dope.
Yeah, thank you.
I found you know that movie King of New York?
Hmm?
Yeah, that's on there, and like I did a little video analysis of that movie after finding it on Tubi, and like that's my highest viewed video. It's got like 6.4K views or 5. I don't know.
Good for you, man. Yeah, it all helps. Tubi's the best outlet right now. Like Tubi got bought by Fox about I think 6 months ago. So if you go into Tubi now, you could watch any of Fox News across the entire country. But they're going to start original content too, because like Peacock is NBC, Tubi is Fox. So
what's Pluto?
I'm not sure, but Pluto, you got Pluto. Point is, everybody's getting their own streaming outlet because that's the new norm.
But we're right now talking about the free ones that everybody watches because like if you have like the Plutos or the whatever, why do you need to pay $60 a month or whoever the fuck, you know what I'm saying, for like Comcast?
You're right. And one of the things that's cool about Tubi and all that's like you don't have to pay for that. It's free. So what? There is commercials. That sucks for a second, but there's no nudity cut out. There's no violence. The language is all there. And it's kind of cool when you watch your own movie and you see a commercial. You're like, wow, this is, it's like, wow, the commercial in my freaking movie.
And if people complain like about commercials in like Tubi, you're probably watching YouTube as we speak. You are watching YouTube as we speak, and there was an ad to get to this video. So viewers, if you're in your head thinking you're too lazy to go to Tubi, reevaluate your situation, but continue on distributor.
Yeah, and Tubi's will eventually, I think, will be just like Amazon and Netflix, where at the beginning they took your film because they needed content. They didn't care what it was. Now Amazon and Netflix is the hardest thing to get on because they want the best quality. Once you start original programming, it's all over, So that's where Tubi came. So I think Tubi eventually that'll happen there. They'll start making original content, Pluto TV, all that, and then there'll be a new Tubi somewhere. It just shuffles down the line. So as long as there's someone, there's networks like that, we'll always have a place to go. But when it came down to the distributor, guys, I mean, it's a real ugly business out there. It really is. There's not a lot of friends in film. I was reading up nightmare stories, especially for someone like everybody knows, like Lionsgate.
You used a clip from some other video that I actually watched a year ago from some other guy complaining about his experiences, and he made this beautiful, I think it was some film about special needs. It was a great, you know what I'm talking about? You edited a film in your little distributor video. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there was a few of them. Yeah, there was. I took, because one of the things about the distributor video was like, I wasn't going to just, hey, we're live. Let me tell you a little bit about distributor. I always found people that rant. If you're an audience member, the person's upset. Who are you believing? Sometimes. So I kind of came up with like I'm just gonna tell a story. I'm gonna narrate and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the clips of my journey and actually show what these people did with the news articles of the LA Times, like show proof of what they did. And the audience member could, take what they wanted out of it. So I made a short film out of that, so, but the film industry, which was cool about distributor up until they did what they did after 10 years, was you can't get to Netflix, you can't get to any network. You cannot call and be like, hey, I'm a filmmaker, can I get no, that does not work. You have to have a film agent. You got to have, that's basically what distributor was. They were a film agent that had an avenue to get you to all those outlets. However, when you sign with somebody I just spoke a second ago about Lionsgate, what the nightmare that was happening with any of those distribution companies, particularly Lionsgate and all that, like you'd get on there and be like, oh, cool, my film's on Lionsgate. Look at that logo. Like, hi, hi, I'm walking on the street. My film's at Lionsgate. Great. Problem with Lionsgate and all these distribution companies is they don't pay you. Okay. They find ways not to pay you, period. Because they know a Joe Schmo like me, like, yeah, I'm a filmmaker, guys, but I work 5 days a week. I'm up every day at 6 a.m. to go work. And they pry on that, meaning they know you don't have the lawyer money to lawyer up and go after these people. They're going to find a way. Same thing with the music industry. They know you, okay?
I would like to say something about music industry, though, is that if you want to get on all platforms, you can get on all platforms. Can you get to the front page where they're recommending shit to people and the big playlists? No, you can't. And you're easily, like, if you pay for DistroKid, which is like $20 a year, you can easily get on all platforms. You get 100% of your royalties, right? But your search results are easily, nobody's gonna be able to find you if they search your name. You're barely unless you have a lot of streams yourself. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I mean, the music industry and the film industry are the same in how they get screwed. It's just which way is it gonna happen? Like in film, like a Lionsgate will be like, at the end of the quarter when you're supposed to get paid, it's not like, F you. They send you papers. They'll send you an email and be like, we spent $50K in marketing your film. And you're like, where? Like, show me where it's at. Like, can I see it in a magazine? Like, what were you running the trailer before a YouTube ad? Like, show me. And they're just like, no. It's like, because you didn't do that. That's why, And then you're like, well, I want to see something. Show me. And they're like, we suggest you have a lawyer contact us. They almost taunt you like that, So what was happening is everyone was not getting money. And that's where, at the time, distributor debuted. And what happened was, got reversed. They could get you on any platform, but you had to pay them money, which at the time, I think was $1,600 an outlet. So $1,600 to Netflix, $1,600 to Showtime. So when you're done paying all these bills, you're now paying, it's like a band. Hi, I want to play with the Foo Fighters. Okay, well, you better go sell 300 tickets. You almost like have to like pay to play. So that wasn't the greatest thing, but they were paying you. And what was happening was you could set it like $7.99 a download or $3.99, a rental. People were being paid for years, but you got to realize, okay, you're going to pay that for each outlet. And if a new outlet came along that you want to get on, you get on it, but you got to pay for it. But you got to do that balance. Like, okay, I'm $1,600 in a hole over here just because of that. Like, you're going to get enough rental fees per quarter to make up for that. And then keep in mind, distributor was a place that hosts your movie for you and got you in. You have to do all the advertising. So that is where I started, like, my movies basically targeted for the horror movie audience. So I'm calling Scream Magazine and buying
the cons, like the horror cons. Like, I love...
Yeah, the horror cons. And, like, you got to go meet your fans at the horror con. So you're renting a table. You're paying $350 for the table. Okay, you want to give out some free stuff. You also want to have some merch that are cool. Like, hopefully, you can maybe break people at the table. But, oh, wait a minute. I'm in Philadelphia area. I'm in Atlanta. Well, I got to get 2 nights of a hotel. That's more money, and plus gas and to feed yourself. You're another $1,000 in a hole. And what's happening is people are taking the car to like your movie. Well, they're gonna go, watch your movie. Well, distributors making the money. I'm thinking I'm getting back at the end of the quarter. Basically, it was just like it was a big sucker job in the end, and it was a complete nightmare because I literally just did my first driving cross country. It's just something I've always wanted to do. I've done it 4 times since then, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna time this around the time that quarter ends. So when I come home from my cross country, I'm gonna have money waiting for me. And I got back, and you have the date. It tells you the date you're gonna get paid. And I look up, and it's like, no, nothing. And anytime you would call a distributor or email them, they were pretty quick with getting back to you. And this was the first time I contacted them where it was like nothing. And I had a bad feeling. I'm like, there's got to be something up. So all the other filmmakers, there was thousands of films, man. I mean, thousands of filmmakers. Oh, we all started talking to each other like, yo, did you get paid? Like, yo, are they talking to you? No, no, no. And then it finally leaked that they filed Chapter 13. And some of the filmmakers, because they're based in California, went right to their door. And all the blinds are down, the signs off the door. The 4 people that mainly run that thing, some of them went and got jobs elsewhere, just like that. Then they took the profits of all of us filmmakers, and hired Glass and Ratner, I think is what was the proper name, a lawyer company, with our money to liquidate everything. So basically, you can't even talk to the distributor now. You got to talk to them. So we got screwed. The monies are going to a lawyer that we're basically paying with our money to keep us out. And the worst part of that whole thing was when your film is locked into these networks like Netflix through distributor. You can't call Netflix and say, that's my film, take it down. Only that company distributor, the aggregators, what they're called, can take your film down. So basically, picture your film can't be taken down. You can get your film back and you own it again, and then reshop it to a new company to get it back up that you can actually start getting money. It's basically quarantine and frozen. And since distributor filed Chapter 11, like at Amazon and iTunes and all the other outlets, it basically got shadowed to darkness and said this isn't available to rent anymore. So, but your film's up there, but you need it down to restart the whole process over. Distributor did not take our films down. They went and just started a new job because they had to support themselves, and they left thousands of us contacting all these outlets. And it was a nightmare to get these down. Distributor did not get my films down. I got my films down of countless emails and calling. And I'm telling you, there's times you were talking to somebody and like, we're going to switch you over to someone else. And then boom, you're off. Like they either purposely hung up on you or, accidentally got disconnected. You got to start it over. You're talking to someone on email. You're talking to some guy named Kevin, and all of a sudden, hi, I'm Frank. Can I help you? I'm talking to Kevin. Well, what's your problem? And it starts the whole process over, and it was insane. So, yeah, distributor, it was insane. Think about that, guys. I call it. I always said, look at it like this: picture you bought a property that has 10 units. You're now a landlord. Everybody loves your property. You get 10 clients that move in. And then at the end of the month, those renters say, we're not paying you. And then the bank says at the end of the month, well, that's no excuse. We want our money. That's basically what happened to all of us filmmakers. So as those bills kept coming in for me and anybody else that bought marketing, those credit card bills, those bank statements, you're still in a ditch taking grenades. And it was one of the most insane things that's ever happened to me. And I'm just so glad IndieWire, the LA Times, Variety, they jumped on
Alex Ferrari, he went ham and he ruined them. I love Alex Ferrari.
Alex is great. He's really been leading the way. He was really the guy I found out his official post of what happened, and then he made a group. And I think that the guys from distributor, I think those guys thought we were just going to cry for a week and go away, and we didn't. And this is why, like, I made that video. This is why I, Susan, when you said you wanted to talk about this, I jumped right on. Like, yeah, I'm never going to let those guys forget. Clearly,
yeah,
2 out of the 4 have jobs in the film industry, so it didn't. They only went so far. But I'm not one of them people. I really don't like to gripe about the past, but like, man, that was 4 years of my life.
And even I assume like even making the movie itself it seemed like it was a fluid process based on the way you've continuously described it in your videos and all the interviews and stuff that's out there. It seemed like it was fun, but like I got a question though. What's more difficult, pre-production or post-production? I'm asking that very generally.
Yeah. Pre-production will always be harder because you got all your chips in place, but until you actually film the movie, some of them chips can move. You could have a location, you could have a camera person working for this price, like you could have lights you're renting from this price, and it could all change. A cast member could drop on you, So to me, once the movie's done, then you can kind of exhale, but you are sitting there forever going through footage before you could even start editing. And then, editing's never nice because then, you might have audio pockets and, you got problems. I mean, nothing about this is easy. If it, like that saying, if it was easy, everybody would do it. But,
yeah.
For me, the fact that like I had 70 actors that I basically said, we've been in countless movies. Philly's not known for like good films coming out as far as independent wise. We see a lot of films where you film it and it just never sees the light of day. The director either just decided not to edit it, scrap it, quits the industry. So as an actor, you're like,
damn.
What can I give my time to? I know, and actually, that's actually going to come out to benefit me, the actor, to try to get my ass to like Hollywood permanently. So I told all these actors, like, hop on with me. I will be the guy. I will get us a finished product. I promise. And you'll be able to see it at all times. And like when the distributor thing happened, like I said, those films were left up there, but like. They were like shadowed, like this movie's not available to rent. So any of my cast members are like, oh, I'm in this movie, The Dark Military. Let's put it on. Not available. It's like, I felt, even though I didn't do it, like I'm letting them down. I mean, that was like so humiliating to me for that time being of like,
At least you want to get it back up on something, though. You know what I mean?
Everything you said that wasn't going to happen, the worst thing happened, And, so yeah, that was a real rough time for me with that. I mean, oh.
Yeah, and I described like the independent because I've analyzed this a lot. I've read the whole Robert Rodriguez. I went through I didn't necessarily go through a filmmaker phase. Like I still kind of want to do that, and I've still made unreleased films and stuff like that. But like, I realized that shit's really different than like the early '90s, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I've compared two things. I've compared independent filmmaking from the 90s. I said that it's the equivalent of the rap industry 5 years ago, because really all these SoundCloud kids blowing up with all their independently produced stuff. Does that make sense to you? And how like the independent industry sort of changed, and it's really 1 out of 1,000 becomes like, it's like you don't get a lot of Safdie brothers, is what I'm saying.
Both of them are always changing, music and film. Like, anyone can make music now on their computer. You know what I mean? You come up your beat. Yeah, exactly. And that's not a slander in any way. And also I could say, like, you could shoot a movie on your freaking iPhone. If I do not advise that, you better have the proper lighting and audio, but you could get away with that. I mean, it's crazy. Filming got easier to do, and the films are coming out so much better. But the payment in the end is not worth, like, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. I tell everybody, like, the truth is, the dark part of the film industry is like, if you're gonna make a film, it's almost like a vanity film. It's just for your mantle. It's just like, I made this. Don't expect Like if it was the 90s, every film got bought, no matter how horrible it was.
Yeah, Mr. Weinstein would pull up with a check.
Yep. Yeah. Like when you really look at it, like it's a great movie. We all know it, and it's all influenced us in every way. We all love the Kevin Smith universe, but like, look at what Clerks was. This is a bunch of people hanging out at a freaking, like he got a check for that. Bunch of people that's hanging out at, at a quick stop. Yeah, you could never get that money for that today. They may put it out, but they're not giving you a dime. I had about 40 some distribution companies come after the Dark Military because I was constantly marketing it, why it was being edited, and every one of them sending me papers. We'd love to have your film, blah blah blah, and all the paperwork had $0 on it. And every time I brought it up, like, you gonna buy this for anything? We're like, oh no, we don't buy films. Oh, but you're gonna put mine out because you love it so much. And then and it's like crazy because a lot of these film companies, all they want to do is get about 1,000 films and then try to get in with Comcast and Pluto TV and all that and be like, look at our section, we got 1,000 films from it if you take it. They're just trying to buy bulk. They're not really there to push your film the way you'd want it. And it's really dark like that because you're hoping you get some money back out of this. But in the 90s, you did. The 90s, I mean, I'm telling you, that was like the last straw before everything started changing because downloading happened. The same thing with the music industry. Like once the Napster stuff hit, you remember like even like the Tower Records at Sam Goody. I mean, Sam Goody was charging $18.99 a freaking CD at one point. I was like, wow, that's insane. And it cost him 37 cents to press. Like the money was just hand over fist back then. So
and stuff like Chud was being made. I love that movie though, but
the Chud Part 2, yeah,
dude,
I think they're both free on Tubi as well.
Yeah, I love the Joe Bob Briggs analysis. That is a class. I love Joe Bob Briggs or however you say his name. And
you said it right, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I gotta get back on my Shudder stuff because I used to subscribe to them and I don't sub them anymore. But yeah, man, it's crazy seeing stuff change. But I would say there is a sort of pressure, sort of in the way that you had to advertise everything yourself. There's a pressure now to be your own distributor, and like everybody wants to take the leap of faith and just put it on either a YouTube or build like a fan base. You know what I'm saying? How would you say you've learned from that, and what do you think you're gonna do with your next film? Are you gonna self-distribute it or put it online for free? Or
well, when you're with distributor, like the idea of that was putting it out yourself. So then you do that and you set up the merchandise store, the Dark Military logo was like a very sellable thing. So there's been like pillows and shower curtains and glasses and you can still, the Blu-ray available at like a bunch of different outlets like Screen Team Release and Avid Superstar Films and then Diabolic. Like the horror movie fans know where to go. It's on Amazon and everything. But like all I did was go to Film Hub. Film Hub is the same thing as distributor, except they actually pay you. So I am still, even though I'm with Film Hub, I have to advertise my film so people go to the outlets that Film Hub got me on. So I get a quarterly check, and I have been. Film Hub's been good. So, but
how'd you find out about them?
There was only two at the time. There was Distributor and there was Film Hub, and the only reason I didn't use Film Hub is because Distributor was around longer, and that was like the one.
It was
spicy. Only two. Distributor was way up here, and Film Hub's like, yeah, it's coming up, but you gotta trust Distributor. They're the main one. I figured go with the Nike, like what could possibly go wrong? And I got in there, and yeah, that's what went wrong. So I had to, get the film back off of all those outlets, and then, then start it all over. I mean, submitting a film to one of those things, like a distributor or a Film Hub, it's the same way you would upload a YouTube video. Like, well, that sounds easy, but it's not, because it's QA checks. And there's this, okay, we need artwork now. We need this. It's got to be these dimensions. It's not as easy as you think. It's not something you're going to be done with in like a day or two. Like it's a while. And I'm not a guy that's like big in Photoshop, so I don't like go back to one of my producers and unsung hero, Steve Carino, like, okay, they need them out. They need posters at all these dimensions and stuff. It's like, it's crazy. And then you have to crush the file down a little bit, or maybe up, it's crazy.
And the pixels,
and how big.
The size of the pixel of the poster.
Oh my God. And then you're also responsible for getting closed captions. That's on you. Yeah, they don't have that stuff for you. It's not like, oh, we'll take care of it. They're not taking care of anything. They are hosting it. That's it. It's just like, we got it. We got everything you need. Thank you. All right, we'll start banging them out. And all those things do is Film Hub, which is all they do is hey, they got the 100 outlets that you want to go to, but their job is not to sell your film. It's basically you to get all the hits that the other outlets say, we'll take that film. So you're never off the hook with them. You're just never. If you're a film director, you should never be off the hook. And if you're in a band, you should never be off the hook. You should always be talking up with your passion, your art. Yeah, I can't tell you how many people I know, like, especially in film, it's like they make the film, they put it out, and it doesn't have any traction. My film's better than everyone's. Why doesn't no one like it? It's like, yeah, dude, you don't do anything. There's many people that won't they won't put a dime of their own money in, and I think that's like, it's just so wrong. You're telling me you don't want it bad enough. That's like saying, like in music, there's all those people like, oh, they finally got signed by a label, and then the label pays obviously for the recording, and then the label's like, you're going on tour, right? That's what we agreed on. No, that's like, we're not going to go on tour. Well, then your band, what happens? They shove your band into the far corner, because touring bands is how the music gets out there.
And that's how they make the most money. Like you're not making a lot of money off the streaming. You're only making like $3 to $5 per 1,000 streams. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So I was gonna use I have the Dark Military logo. Like I should have brought something out to show, but it's just like the Nike swoosh, big drop off my film compared to Nike. But that's property. Like Iron Maiden, Eddie, and those letters. That's property. That's really where it comes down to. Like in a band, especially, it's like T-shirts. Why do you think you're paying $35 to $50 for those T-shirts? That's how the band's getting their money.
Yeah,
they're not making it off you. The fans most likely are downloading the music illegally, and you jump up and down at the shows and say you love the band so much. Like you gotta win somewhere. So I always tell film people, you gotta make a property, and that's where I always say, like, making a comedy film, that's not good. It's really like horror. Like action, you gotta have something that someone wants to take some merchandise home, like the Alien Predator franchise, Jason, the hockey mask. Like, you gotta invent something that everybody's gonna want. If you make a comedy film, well, what are you gonna take out of that? You laughed for 90 minutes and then you move on with your life. There's no profit there.
And also, there's like the audience for comedy films. Nobody wants to see an indie comedy movie because when they see a comedy movie, they're most likely seeing it because Bill Murray's in it. You know what I'm saying?
Damn right. Yeah. And actually, the worst thing a filmmaker can, for anyone out there, is a filmmaker, and you think you have amazing comedy, remember this. They're the worst films to make because, not that we're saying your film, I'm not saying that you don't have a story, a comedy that ain't going to be badass funny. Good for you. Problem is, worldwide, what we think is funny in America isn't funny in Europe. What's funny in Europe doesn't work in America. It's the hardest thing to sell. The number one thing that works worldwide is action.
Fun. How would you describe The Dark Military as a film to someone who hasn't, seen it?
Okay, so Dark Military, I would say I came up with a concept for a group, the first group that, I just thought we were due for one because we haven't really had one since The Devil's Rejects. And I wanted about 10 characters, and I definitely wanted some female killers in this too. I wanted to just have a little of everybody. So the Dark Military is basically a general who we don't know with a lot of money hires a bunch of people from the dark web to come out on Halloween and put the fear back in. And it's going to be like an annual thing. And they come from the dark web. They were basically upset that Halloween got a little too funny, and not scary, and they're going to upgrade it every year with a dangerous game. For anyone who's ever seen like manhunting movies, yeah, there's a page out of that. So I would
Or
always say
read the most dangerous game.
yeah. So I always say the concept is like 6 ingredients. It's like literally early Friday the 13th meets 24 meets Battle Royale meets Screens meets the Levels Rejects and meets Mad Max. I literally took like all 6 of those concepts.
Dude, Battle Royale, dude, that's a oh my, like I've gotten people because like all the kids like when I was growing up they all like played Fortnite or PUBG, and I'd tell them, I'd be like, dude, go watch the movie. I know you like, I don't know that you watch movies that much, but I'll be like, if you like the Hunger Games, you'll like Battle Royale, and Battle Royale came out before Hunger Games, so like
way before that. And I mean, you had Surviving the Game with Ice-T in 1993. You had Avenging Force in like 1989. You had The Running Man. I mean, there's always been that concept's been out there. I'm not at all saying, oh, I came up with something, that no way. I just put my own spin of like the dark web and why they're doing it.
Modern.
Yeah. And my whole thing is I just want to introduce new horror movie icons to the horror community with high production value for an independent movie. Like I'm very proud of how well lit my woods were and like how we did it. The fact that I shot that movie in 8 days with that many actors, with so many moving parts, and then 2 years later decided to add 2 more days of shooting, but just adding on to the story. So in reality, I shot this film, for anyone who wants to check it out, it's free on Amazon and Tubi and Movieplex. I did it all in 10 days, folks. I mean, it was crazy. From literally, it got dark at night to sunrise. And we shot it like the beginning of October. So it was literally like 6:30 to 6:30. It's basically what I call it, 6:30 to 6:30. And short films, I ran 26 short film festivals in Philadelphia. Freedom Shorts, Liberty Mass.
Freedom Shorts. Yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah, anybody can put that in on YouTube, and you can watch all the video highlights from all of it, where we literally kind of show you around the venue. You meet some of the filmmakers. We talk about what's going on, and it's over within 5 to 7 minutes because we know the world has a short attention span. But yeah, I screened over 1,000 short films from around the entire world, and that was mostly out of the Trocadero in Philadelphia and Chinatown. Then I did spread out to like Philly Mocha and a few other venues and stuff. And I did that from 2012 until 2019. I did it over a span of 7 years. I'm talking about it in a past tense, like it's over. I don't know if it's over. The last show I had was 2019, October 4th and 5th. And then came 2020. And, if I wanted to have a show, it wasn't going to happen. But some of the venues I just mentioned to you went under. So are there other places I could screen? Sure. I don't know. There's another part of it. Like I have a lot going on film wise. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have time to do that. So I'm not saying it's done. I'm just saying for right now.
Hiatus.
Yeah, hiatus. Yeah. I don't want to say it's done because I did really love running those shows. I just have to be cloned. It's the only way I know. I have to be cloned so like another one of me can run that. You know why everything else doesn't stop.
Feel like they deserve. It's like when really
people don't want to put the work in anymore.
Yeah, like they just want one thing, but really it takes like millions of things to get done. And I'm saying when you're in a spot with underground creators, it is a fun club that is really accepting, is what I meant.
Gotcha. I know what you're saying there too. You have to actually watch though, like, I can tell you in film that I've been in Philly doing this scene here for 10 years, and there are groups of filmmakers that have been working together for 10 years and have gotten nowhere. And they've gotten nowhere because every movie's either the same. Like it's the same comedy in a row. It's just like, okay, this time you'll play this and play. And they're having a blast doing it. They're not taking it seriously. Or maybe they're not paying the money to get it into the film festivals to try to get it out. But like, I call it kind of like a sporting team that needs to be blown up. Like you guys clearly have done this for 10 years. you're not getting anywhere. You guys need to go to another team and hopefully get a new spark. You need to work with other people.
Yeah.
And you have to know as a filmmaker to get out if you're around one of these. I'm not telling you you can't be friends with them, but if they're still spinning their tires after so many years, think about why this said 10 years. If you die at age 70, that's 1/7 of your life. How long do you think you're gonna be here? Like you gotta take a chance. And you
what
might
is
fall on
taking
your
a chance?
face a little
Like
bit,
just
so you
getting into a new project, getting with new people, or what you were kind of talking with me off camera is that you shouldn't be afraid to cut people off or being an anchor.
And you know what? Some of them people that you cut off will say, "Well, you're egotistic and all that," and be like, "Oh, you think you're better?" Like, nah, dude, you're just not listening to me when I say we should try something different. And you're refusing to change. And it's like, I could tell you your next bunch of films in a row. All I have to do is look at your last one because you're not trying to change. Yeah. You know? So there's not one move I've done film-wise locally that I regret. They're really not. The people that I had to cut out, the people that I kind of, waved to from a distance, like, I want people that are aggressive and really want it. And you've got to be able to put the time in. And I can't tell you how many people don't shut their lives down. Like, I still work every single day. I'm up tomorrow at 6 a.m. It's 11:38 right now. Like, you got to be able to put the time in. You have to be like, after work, you work your real world job. Then if you're a filmmaker, then you really go to work. That's when your work day starts. When you're at your regular job, you're just like, I got to get to my real job. This is a waste of time. Why do I got to do this? Damn it. Can't I get a hit? So I don't have to do this crap anymore. But that's really the way you got to be hungry. You have to have the whole day lined up and you just got to go for it. And there's so many people that are just like, they sit on the couch and like, oh, don't worry, this next script, everything's going to work out great. No, not how it is. I can't tell you how many times I would drive 2 hours to talk to an investor that said they wanted to talk to me about putting money into my film. I drive 2 hours, listen to the investor. Guess what the investor is going to talk about, by the way? They always talk about themselves. They don't really talk to you. It's crazy. They want to talk to you about giving you money, but they want to talk about their family, about how they made money, and all of them. They played baseball once. It's crazy. So I have to listen to that for another 2 hours, and then I drive back. So there's 6 hours of my life down the toilet where I'm driving back, where it's basically like, I hope I made a good impression. I hardly talked. The guy just talked about himself. It's crazy, but you have to take a chance. Or you can just sit on your couch. You got to hope one, and that's eventually how a lot of things happen. They come together. It's just, it's like bad dates. Eventually, you're going to find the one you want to be with, but you got to go out. You got to listen to someone talk about their ex-boyfriend or their dog or whatever the hell makes you want to pull your hair out of your head. I can't wait for the date to get over with. It's the same way in film, guys. You got to, same way being in a band. Like, oh, we got to play this club, and you show up, and there's 17 people. Like, dude, you got to play and give it your all. I realize there's only 17. You were hoping for hundreds. This is how it is. You got to earn it and hope those 17 people tell other people about your band. And then, 17 comes that 100, You got to earn it. People don't, everybody just wants shit handed to them.
It was, I honestly thought that the first 3 months, man, that was beautiful. Like, honestly, there's so much shit that I saw that I never thought that I would ever see. Like, from in a negative and positive way, man. It was it's fun that I lived through that because it made me realize I gotta get off my fucking ass and make some bread and try and create as much as possible. Like, honestly, that's what I learned from it is don't if everybody's making a million different choices for you and stuff like that, learn to make your outcome independence, shit like that. I went down a self-help rabbit hole, and then I started becoming my own therapist. I don't know. What I'm saying is I think I'll let everybody take some time on themselves, if that makes sense.
It does. I didn't need this, to be honest. When I was about 19 years old, I was in the hospital for 5 days, hooked to a machine because I had a collapsed lung. That to me, being isolated to that made me realize like anything that was happening to me in high school and anything that I thought that was tragic really wasn't. I was like, tragic is knowing I can't stand up and walk away. I'm hooked up to a machine. It just made me think of everything that I thought was bad was just silly. Basically, I don't have any problems. My whole life's ahead of me. So I said, when I get off this freaking machine, I'm going out that door. I'm going to see the country. I'm going to go to every concert. You know, I'm going to be in the wrestling business. I'm going to do this. And I did that. So when the pandemic hit, there was no getting myself in check. I have been in check since that. There is one thing I told myself, and I could tell all of you is we went 102 years without a pandemic, regardless of, I call this a light beer pandemic, you know, compared to what we thought it could be. But you realize all that downtime we had. You don't know if there's another one or more coming. Don't freaking waste a day. Just don't waste a day. Do everything that's in that mind of yours. Go after it now. No matter what it is. Go after it now.
That's a beautiful statement. I feel like that's how we could wrap this up. That was a great. Do you have anything else you'd like to announce?
No, I think that is a good ending. The credits should go black and the credits should come up.
But yeah.
Oh, and yeah, check Loren Lepre on Instagram and Facebook, and you can Dark Military for free on Amazon and Tubi. AverageSuperstarFilms.com is my website, and Average Superstar TV on YouTube. And thank you so much for having me on.